Okay, guys. So, yes. So, we just have two more operators to discuss. First, we'll finish that and then we'll move on to the next topic. Okay. So, under operators, we were seeing your bitwise operators. Okay. So, in bitwise operators, the operator that we have to see is your right shift operator. So, right shift operator. Okay. So, now already what are the things we discussed? When we are talking about the bitwise operators, then what are the key points? First, it will convert your number into a binary value and then only it will perform the operation. Once it performs the operation, it will convert the value back to a decimal and that will be printed for us. So this is the point I told you. And apart from that, what else did I tell you? Bitwise operators can be worked only on integer data types. So only on int data types you can apply the bitwise operator. So if you cannot apply it on any other data type, right? So in that, the operator that we have to see is your right shift operator. So this is the symbol of your right shift operator. Okay, and what is the general syntax? X, right shift, n. Where I already told you what is the x? X is nothing but the decimal value. X is nothing but the decimal value on which you are going to apply the operator. So your x value is the decimal number. So decimal number on which the operator will be applied. Right, and then n is now is equal to the but the number of bits. So n denotes the number of bits that needs to be shifted. That needs to be shifted. Okay. So now what kind of operator this is? Right shift operators. So what is going to happen? So bits will be removed. Bits will be removed from the right side. From the right hand side. So bits will be removed from the right hand side and okay, and how many ever number of bits you are removing? How many bits you are removing? That much of zero. Okay, that much of zero needs to be added. And where will you add this? You're removing values, you're removing bits from the right hand side. So you will add the zeros on the left hand side. So remember this always. From whichever side you are removing the numbers in the opposite direction, you have to add the zeros. So in the left shift operator, what we did? We were removing the bits from the left hand side. So on the right hand side, we were adding the zero. But here, this is a right shift operator. So how this will be working? You will be removing the bits. How many bits to remove? That is denoted by this number n. By this number n, whatever you are going to give here n, that much of bits is going to be removed. So how many ever bits you are removing, that much of zero needs to be added in the opposite direction. Okay, let us try to do this with the help of an example. Okay, so this is the first example I want to take. Okay, so let us take the first example here. Okay, so I am saying 10. Okay, 10 right shift, right shift 2. So what is going to happen here? My x value is equal to 10 and my n value is equal to 2. So just remember this. What is the syntax I told you? X, right shift operator, n. So x is the number on which the number of bits is going to be removed. And how many number of bits it's going to remove? It is going to remove 2 bits. So first thing what we have to do? We have to find the binary equivalent of this number 10. So when I convert 10 to a binary format, what will I be getting? I will be getting like this. As I said, I am representing it in a 8-bit format. 8-bit is equal to 1 byte, right? So I am representing the 10 in a 8-bit format. So 1010 is the actual number. So the remaining 4 numbers you can just add a 0. Right. So how many number of bits to shift? You have to shift to 2 bits. Okay. Since this is a right shift operator, from which side you have to remove the bits? From the right side. From the right side, 2 bits needs to be removed. So when I remove it, what is the new value I will be getting? So the new value that I will be getting is 2 bits to be removed from the right side. So these first two bits will be removed. Then that much of 0. How much of 0? 2 zeros needs to be added in the left side. Okay, so 2 zeros needs to be added in the left side. So again I'm telling you, don't worry whether you are removing 0 or 1. See here what I am removing. I am removing first 0 and then I am removing 1. But when I am adding, I will always add only zeros. Don't add anything else. Okay, so this is the new number that you have got. Convert this number into a decimal value. What is that you will be getting? You will be getting the number 2. That will be the output of it. Cross check it. So I am just saying print 10, right shift 2. Okay, let us run this code just to see whether I am getting this 2 as the output. Yes, I am getting it. Okay, now how to cross check it? How to cross check it? Okay, for cross checking the right shift operator, we will be using the division method. So we will be using the division method. You remember how did I cross check the left shift operator? I used the multiplication method. So here I will be using the division method. Okay, so what is the syntax for the division method? Remember, it is a flow division. It is a flow division. Don't do normal division. We have to do flow division. Okay, so you know the difference, right? So normal division, if you do, the result of a normal division is always in form of a floating point number. In Python, the normal division always gives the result in form of a float. So that is why here we are using the flow division. Okay, so what is the x value? X value is 10. So 10 divided by 2 to the power n. Okay, so exponent operator. So 2 to the power n. So what is the 2 value? I mean 2 is because it's a base 2 binary. So 2 to the power n means 2 into 2. So what is that you will get? 10 divided by 2 into 2, 4. So how many times it will go? 2 times, because see it is a flow division. It will give me only, it will not give me any fractional values. So cross check the answer. This is the answer we got when we are doing it in our method also. This is the answer you will be getting it when we are doing it using the division method also. Okay, so this is how your right shift operator is going to be working. Say for, let us take another example. Okay, I'll just quickly tell you about one more example also. Let us take this. So I am saying 14. Okay, 14 right shift 1. So how many bits to remove here? So what are the things comes? X value is equal to 14 and n value is equal to 1. So number of bits to shift is only 1. Okay, done. So first thing, binary equivalent. What is the binary equivalent of 14? Okay, so this is the number. So how many bits to shift? Only 1 bit. So what is the new value you are going to get? So the new value, what we are going to get is something like this. So this number from the right side, 1 bit has to be removed and we have to add 1 0 on the left hand side. So this is the new value that I will be getting. This new value, when I convert it to a decimal value, it will give me the result as 7. It is going to give me the result as 7. Okay, let us check that also. Let us just check that. I am saying print. Okay, 14, right shift, print it. See what you're getting? 7. That is the value I got when I'm calculating it manually also. Okay, let us do the division method. Let us cross check this. So let us cross check this. So cross checking, what you'll do? X value, which is 14, divided by, what is the n value? 2 to the power 1. So 14 divided by 2. So what you're going to get? 7. Okay, so this is how I will be working on the bitwise right shift operator. Right, I hope it is clear, guys. So these operators, you can just work it out, sample programs and these things. I will share you the document about the operators. So where I have given you all the examples also and a couple of other examples. What I have covered here, other than that, I have added a few more examples. You can just go through that, okay? I will share you the document in your WhatsApp. Okay, the other operator, yeah, membership and other things we have already covered. So what I wanted to discuss with you is another operator which is called as a conditional operator. Okay, there is an operator which is called as a conditional operator. So in other programming languages also this operator is there. See, when I am talking about C, C++ and all, I also have a conditional operator there also. So conditional operator, this operator is also known as your ternary operator. So another name for this is we call this as a ternary operator. Okay, in all other programming languages like C, your C++, okay, your Java and your C sharp, etc. Okay, this operator is represented as one question mark and a colon. So this is the syntax we used to use for your conditional operators in other programming languages. In Python, it is little different. We do not have this symbol. In Python, we do not have this symbol. So there is no symbol to represent our conditional operator. Then you may ask, ma'am, how to write it? How to write it? So this is the syntax. So remember, this is the syntax in Python. So what you will give? You will give some variable name equals to. Okay, so first thing before going into the syntax, understand what is the necessary for a conditional operator. So remember, conditional operator, the necessary is it is used to write a simple if else condition. It is used as a replacement for a simple if else condition. This is the usage of my conditional operator. So, for example, okay, let us take a very, very simple example. I am saying my program, what is my program going to do is greatest of two numbers. So, greatest of two numbers. This is the program. Okay, so what I am saying in this is A is equal to, I am saying int of input of. So whatever is the value he is giving for A, that is going to get stored. I'm asking the user to enter the value. Then I'm saying B is equal to int of input of. Then I'm saying if, okay, A greater than B, that is my condition. I am saying creating a variable called big. So I'm saying big is equal to A. That is, if A value is greater than B, then I'm saying big is equal to A. Else I am saying here the colon, then I'm saying big is equal to. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a variable called big and I have to assign the value, whichever is biggest among A and B, I want to assign that value to this variable big. So for that I have written this piece of code. So this piece of code consists of 4 lines. Am I right? So this piece of code consists of actually 4 lines. So after doing this, I'm going to come out and just simply saying print. So whichever number is bigger, I'm just saying print big. So if you want, we can add this also. So bigger number is equal to, then say comma big. Okay, so if I run this program, okay, first, whenever you're going to, in Instax, I'm saying guys, I'm not saying this for all compilers. In Instax, whenever you want to get a value from the user, what you're going to do is we have an option called as standard in. Click on this. How many input statements you are using here? Two input statements. So here itself, you have to give the two values. So these is the two values I'm giving. The first value is for A, the second value is for B. Then I will run the program. Then I'm going to execute the program. See what it says. Bigger number is equal to 50. Sorry, bigger number is equal to 10. Suppose if I am changing the value like this. Now when I run this program. See, first time if condition was working, second time the else condition is working. So my program is working fine. No problem in that. But it is a 4 lines, 5 lines of code that I have to write for this. Okay, how to simplify this? For simplifying this only, I will be going for my conditional operator. So understand what is the syntax of the conditional operator I'm getting. Where is equal to, or sorry, here I already have a variable. So big is equal to. So first mention the variable name equals to. Okay, first what is that you have to give? If the condition is true, what needs to be done? That is what you will give mention first here. So the condition is a true val. So true val means if the whatever the condition you are going to say, if this condition is true, what needs to be done? You are going to give here first. You are going to give here first. So if the condition is true, what needs to happen? The a value needs to be assigned to the big variable. So that is what I'm saying. A. Okay. Followed by the if condition. So give a space. If then you have to mention the condition. So what is the condition? A greater than b. That is the condition. Give a space. Then comes your else part. So give the else. Okay. After the else, what you have to give? The false. False statement. That is, when the condition, whenever this condition becomes false, what needs to be done? Then whatever is the value of b needs to be given to the big variable. So instead of writing it in this 4 lines of code, I can finish off in a single line using this conditional operator. So that is what I said. It is used as a replacement for a simple if else condition. Okay, when the condition is having more than one, don't complicate using the conditional operator. It is just going to confuse the things more. So for a simple if else condition, see, I will just take this out. So now I'm just going to have this. Okay, so after this, I'm just printing same thing. So bigger number is equal to comma big. That's it. Let us run this. Already the values are there, so I can just run this. See, the program still works the same. So instead of that 4 lines of code, I am replacing it with one single line of code. So that is the advantage of your conditional operators. So please understand what is the conditional operator going to do? It is going to act as a replacement for a simple if else condition. Okay, let us try one more. Okay, so let us try one more. Okay, see what I have done here. This program, I'm trying to find whether the number, so I'm getting a number from the user. That number is nothing but n. I am storing that value inside n. So then I'm checking, is this number even or odd? So instead of writing if, else, everything in 3 or 4 lines of code again, I am converting it into a single line program. So here what I'm doing, what is the syntax? Remember, what when the condition is true, what needs to be done? That is what you have to give first. So here, if this condition, this is my condition, if this condition is true, then it means the number is an even number. So that is what I'm going to print here. So if you want, you can print like this also. N, comma. Okay. So you say give is even. So say like that. N is odd. So our choice, how we want to print is entirely our choice. Print statement, how you want to do it is entirely your choice, right? So here, this is how I want to do it. I want to mention the number, then say the number is an even number. So this is the print I want to say. If this condition is true, I want to say the number is even. If this condition is false, I want to say number is odd. So how to write that? In a simple format. Otherwise, what I have to do? I have to write the if condition. So I have to say if n modulo 2 is equal to 0 means, then say print. Then whatever I have given here. Okay, whatever I have given here, that I need to give here. Okay, then I have to go. I have to write here again another thing else colon again. So this comes at least some 4 lines of code. So these 4 lines of code can be replaced in one single line using my conditional operator. So always just remember the syntax very clearly. When the condition is true, what needs to be done? That you have to mention first, followed by the if keyword, followed by the condition, then the else keyword. Then you have to say if the condition is false, what is that you want to do? So that has to be given here. So this is how your program for your conditional operator or your ternary operator is going to be working. Say suppose you are giving here the number as 1. Run this. See now the else condition is going. So if first time when I gave 10, the condition was true, so it was displaying the first part of the program. Now when I give 1, the condition is false, so it is coming to the else part. Okay, so this is the conditional operator, guys. So this covers your entire operators. So whatever the different types of operators is there in Python, I have just given you the entire details of it.